Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Small Business Show. I'm your host, Swire Ho, the promo guy. Today, I have two guests, Sherri and Lou McManus from the McManus Everett Group. How you doing, guys?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to put the question to you guys, and what has been the conversation that you have been talking with your client at the same time? And obviously, you guys, if you don't mind to give us a quick bios for your work and your background, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we
Sure.
could start right off with telling about us a little bit. So I'll let you do that. You're good at that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, I'm Sherri. This is Lou. We are a husband and wife duo with the Lou Everett Group. And we are business executive leadership coaches and corporate trainers. And we specifically focus on leadership development and effective communication for small businesses. And we really focus in on direct strategies through our proprietary way of what we have in our strategy, what we have really that we have combined our 4.5 decades of combined experience working with solo entrepreneurs up to the corporate C-suite from our backgrounds in previous roles, previous jobs, and also through our training as well. So we love transforming today's leaders through our coaching, training, and educating. Really.
Hmm.
So I
Yep, I
think
second that.
now it's really a good time to bring you guys on because there's a lot of changes really. So in California, right? We thought I like in-person networking, so I was thinking that I could go back to in-person networking soon. But now, we're taking a step back. We're going
Hmm.
back to virtual again. I'm sure that when you guys talk to a client, things are changing so fast. So I think this question could probably make sense. I don't need to explain why we're in challenging times right now, but how would you suggest, a company navigates, during times like this?
Mhm.
It's a good question. Well, you see, this is times like this, right, of crisis, is really where leaders really should be thriving. As leaders, we should have been prepped and trained and ready for crisis up to this point. And we say this phrase a lot, where crisis like this really separates the players from the pretenders, because you see, when it comes down to being a leader, our responsibility are people and those that follow us, those that we lead, and so we need to be prepared for crisis like this. And so that's the challenge right now that a lot of companies have been facing over the last year and a half. A lot of what ifs and what to dos, right? And I think it's important that this is the time for leaders and leadership to really come together and identify what is best for those that they lead, not just now, but for the long term. And how do we prepare for continual challenges as we overcome this particular crisis? Because there are going to be more challenges in businesses as we move ahead.
Thinking about that, like I don't think anyone could have prepared for what we have experienced for the last 15 months now. So I
Mm-hmm.
think there are a company that actually does a lot better. From people that I talked to, they actually had a lot of opportunities during the pandemic, but also at the same time, a lot of businesses, unfortunately, some being around almost 100 year went out of business. I recently went to San Francisco for mini vacation, and that's a restaurant been there for over 100 years now, out of business. So uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So what are some of the conversations that you have had with clients so far? Are they optimistic? Are they worried? What side are they on mostly?
Yeah. Well, from our current clients, which we call them partners, because we're partnering them with their journey, with their business, from where they, depending on where they are in their business. Quite honestly, they've been actually thriving in this. And really, I'll give you the piece, one piece of the puzzle that is the key here is because they have invested in themselves and they have actually have a coach and a mentor. And so they're really laser focused on the next step of their business, if it's clients related or maybe rebuilding, maybe communication with their staff. People are coming back into the office, some are hesitant. So there's a lot going on. And to be quite honest, our current clientele have been doing quite well in moving forward and being very positive on what's next in their business.
A lot
That's
of
good to
times it
know.
comes down to
Yeah.
understanding of a lot of things that come out from our clients are like things like how do we pivot, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that we can do to pivot? As you mentioned, the in-place and in-person networking, which has been the way we've been doing it for quite some time. And even at a big corporation, up to this point, people just come into the office and they work. I mean, there are minus the some companies having flexibility for virtual up to this point, but then they've had to make this pivot. And in small businesses, which we cater to and we support, our clients have come to us and said, okay, now what are other ways that we can network with other people and network with other companies? And so then we had to resharpen those things, right? There's people that didn't really have an external webcam, right? And they had to invest in things like that to really to make things more effective. So it really comes down to, and as Sherri said, we've been very fortunate. Our clients have been very, very successful during the pandemic. There's been some challenges, but they've overcome those challenges because they put forth the effort and followed the process, which has made them successful in what is it they've done. Every one of our clients have grown through the last year and a half in their business, which is pretty awesome to hear.
Oh, that's certainly encouraging. So I wanted to ask you a question, and I want to get your take on both sides. So it's about the passion and the purpose for running a business. I actually talked to different people; they have different answer. Some actually lost passion to run their business because there's so many challenges, and they lost sight of their purpose anymore. But on the other hand, I talked to business formation attorney, there are people who are passionate and they think that they were built for another purpose, but then they are stuck with a corporate job. Now they're starting their own small business now,
Sure.
doing what they love to do, and that's their business. So would you mind to chime in to both sides, and what you guys think should first to reignite the passion, second to follow your passion and be your dream and something that you do?
Right. Well, I think it's important, first of all, to identify what that is. That's always a challenging part. Many people will start a business based upon an opportunity, as opposed to a passion necessarily, right? And I think and that's okay. There's not necessarily wrong with that. But if you want something long term, and if you think about it, I know me, I want to be able to spend my days and my hours and my weeks doing something that I love to do and I'm passionate about, as opposed to just doing it because it was an opportunity and it brings in and pays the bills. And so it's extremely important to go back to the start. And many people, when they start their business, don't identify what that passion and purpose is, and specifically what their why is, because purpose and why are slightly different. And so and that's one thing that we teach on a lot is helping people identify what that passion, what that purpose, what the whys are of their business and what it is that they want to do and what they're currently doing. Matter of fact, and we'll make sure you have this link for the viewers, that there is a free download that we have as an action guide on identifying what those are, because that's where it begins. And once you identify that and have your purpose and passion, that should always be in front of you at all times. So
we call it the North Star,
right?
Some people have heard of that, and that's something that we have learned and really incorporated into our business. So therefore, we have instilled that in our clientele. That is, it needs to instill that. That is your North Star every day. If you're not feeling well, it's like, oh, why am I doing this? Well, that is your reason. That's your purpose.
Yep. That's your starting point, right? I mean, we all use one of these when we want to go somewhere. We pull up our GPS and whatever GPS app you use, and when you pull that up, there's two things that a GPS requires. It's the starting point and where you're heading, right? Those are the 2 points. In business, it's exactly the same way. That starting point should always be that passion, should always be that purpose, always be that why. It should always be where it begins. Because if you know where it begins, and also at the end is your end result. So what's the end result? Okay, what does success look like to you? Let's say in 10 years. What does that business look like? What is success? Draw me that picture. And when we draw that picture out and you can see yourself in there as already successful in that time frame, now we've got to fill in the in-between. And just like the GPS programming, if you look this up, I had a friend of mine that talked to me about programming GPS. The GPS programming starts at the end and works its way backwards to where you are to give you the guidance on where to go. Well, that is exactly what our North Star is identifying our passion, purpose, why. what that success looks like. And now we can then say, okay, what do we have to do to take the steps backwards to get to that point? What do we have to do to get there? So focus on that North Star. When you're not, when you've lost the passion, there's got to be a reason. Identify what that reason is, connect back up with your coach, your mentor, and say, okay, I've lost my passion and I lost my motivation. That mentor and that coach should be redirecting you back into what your passion is. What is your purpose? What is your passion? What's your why? Why are you doing what you're doing to reinvigorate that passion?
Yeah, I think sometimes, we both have times, I'm sure, I'm admitting it, on air, that, sometimes I do see it's difficult, right? The North Star that you're choosing to go, or wherever destination you're trying to go, once you are in the journey, sometimes it takes a lot of work. I have to learn this, I have to learn accounting, I have to learn human relation, whatever, inventory. I didn't want to do that. I didn't think it was that difficult. And obviously, the environment in business right now, then sometimes it's not easy to us. So sometimes we lost sight, maybe we don't want that passion. I don't want to do that anymore. So how would you guide them to refocus and maybe to refine, or even redefine the purpose and passion for their business?
Sometimes it's necessary to redefine that passion and purpose, right? And it's okay if you get to a point and you've started something, you're like, man, I don't really know if this is really the direction I wanted to go. Then it's time to reevaluate that. Well, let's reevaluate. So what we don't really tell our clients anything. What we do is we guide them. We guide them. The coaching relationship is a guidance relationship, as opposed to saying, well, I was there once, you should do this. Well, and as coaches, that is not really one of our processes. Our process would be more along the lines of, okay, well, explain to me why it is you feel that way, and what is your current passion? What is it about it that's changed? What's changed over the course of time? If it's because of being challenging to get your business where you want to be, then that's not a good reason to give up on your passion, because it's going to be work. There's going to be days where it's going to be a roller coaster, especially in the beginning. That's why that's why 25% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. I mean, we see that in thousands of businesses that will close down in the first 2 years because of the fact that they couldn't put in the effort or the work, or they've missed something in the process. And so we're just there to guide them to make sure they don't miss something in that process, and to keep re-engaging them in that passion. Sometimes we've got to go back to the beginning. So let's go back to the beginning and to tell me again why it is that you do what you do. Why do you like to do this? That's really where it begins. Right? That's where it starts. If you get up every morning and you hate what you're doing, you might as well just go back to work out in the corporate world, or in the what we call the capital JOB. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. That's fine. But if you have a passion to do something bigger, something better, especially now with thousands right now.
The Great Resignation, right?
During the Great Resignation, people are resigning to start their own businesses and to do other things so they have more time for their family, and those types of things. This is the time more than ever to invest in avenues of understanding what you don't know, because that's the thing. We don't know what we don't know unless we have something to fall back on, like a coach, like a mentor, that type of thing. And that's where we come in. We come in there to be that guide, right? That guiding light, that beacon towards that North Star, towards their North Star. And we just re-engage them back in, right? Of where it is that they really want to go and how to get there.
Yeah, I love that explanation. So obviously, you got to ask yourself why did you get started? So then you could rethink, maybe it's 10, 20 years, already that, you kind of lost where you're heading. But then remember the first day you start your business, all the passion, all the energy that you have, because sometimes when we walk into a store or a business, we see that person is passionate. We want to talk to that person, but then it was talk to a person that didn't want to be there, and you can feel the energy. Then I don't want to do business with that. Maybe he or she is just a face for the business, but then people can tell. People can tell right away, especially now being on Zoom meeting. We can tell that sometimes they don't want to be in a Zoom meeting. Sometimes you can't really see them with all the lighting and all the slouch sitting that they have in the meeting.
Right. Yeah. It's very true. You've got to get them back to from the
Bring
beginning.
that fire back, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we call it
Yeah.
the beginner's mindset.
Mhm.
When you first start something, how exciting you are and how excited everything is, and you got to get back to that beginner's mindset of
Yeah,
learning
so
that.
wanted to jump into the next question since we had kind of leadway to that. For a new leader in a new role, so obviously, I want to see if we can touch on now. More people will be working remotely. I would assume, more people might be changing the way that they like to work. So as a new leader in all this changing environment behind us, in front of us, so how would you suggest that we improve or we navigate ourselves, to accept all the things that are throwing at us every single day?
Well, first thing, understand that as a leader, that's going to be that way the rest of your life as a leader. You're always going to have these things thrown at you. It's like, you ever drive in a car during a snowstorm and you just see the snowflakes coming and it looks like Star Wars, right? Well, it's like that as a leader. You got those things coming at you, but there is that layer of protection, like that windshield in your car, if you allow that protection to be there, so that you can go head on during challenges because you know how to navigate them. Okay, you know where you get it, where to go. But it comes right back around to we don't know everything as a leader. And so it's important for us to be able to navigate that by utilizing resources, by understanding that, okay, I don't know everything, and there's going to be challenges that are going to make me feel like I'm stuck. Okay, so always be available and ready to see outside your current vision, your current scope, your current lens, right? What we call stepping out of your sleeping bag to kind of see things from a different perspective, so that you can then address it from that level, as opposed to just being in it. Pull yourself out to look at it from a different lens, so that you can then see possible opportunities and possible solutions for whatever challenges that may come at you. That's number one. That's one of the first things that I would highly recommend. What do you think?
Yeah, I know. I think that's a really good thought with that. But and also too, I was going to add in, if you have a team and you're working more on a virtual world, some people are zoomed out and so forth. But we need to kind of get that energy back. We got to get that connection. We have to get that human connection all over again. So really, now is the time to really tap in and to really check in on your team, check in on your managers, check in to your people, either one-on-one, small group time, have a little happy hour, afterward, something to keep that alive and have it still engaging and show that empathy that you are caring about that. Because we don't have that luxury in some incidents where to come back to the office. Some are kind of in between, some are not comfortable. So it's across the board right now. But now more than ever is to really care and show that you care for your employees and your team. That is most important.
I agree.
Yeah, I think caring is very important as I could see from the new role, because with people being virtually, and if you don't care for them, then they could go anywhere right now. So I can tell you how many people that I've connect with, because I wanted to open myself up for networking opportunity because I couldn't go to the physical networking in my local chamber of commerce. I actually we met online. Before Zoom we couldn't have met physically, right? And also have get in touch with guests from in Europe, and I developed relationship with people around the world right now. So for me, it's just seeing them from the screen. So the opportunity, I think, is there. It's you as a business leader want to open up and accept the new, doing things differently. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's okay to be a disruptor, right? It's okay to be a disruptor. That's what I call it. It's like, you're kind of going against the grain. Because we have responsibility as a leader, right? First and foremost, I mean, we've got different layers of our role as a leader. First of all, if you're working for a corporation, work for a company, and you're a leader of a team or department from a title perspective, you've got the bottom line that you have to respond to too, right? You're getting the top down kind of pressure of making sure things get accomplished in a certain time frame, right? That's normal. That is our role. That is what we're supposed to do as a leader. We have to answer to that. We are responsible for the results of who it is that we manage and our leader that we lead. The second thing, though, is the team that we lead, which theoretically should be the priority. That priority is the team, because they're the ones that are going to accomplish what that bottom line goal is. without them, you don't have anybody to lead, right? So you've got to be able to balance out the responsibility of the bottom line that you're getting from your direct report to those that you lead in a way that's going to cause them to want to accomplish that goal and to come into work, not because they have to, but because they want to. Isn't that amazing? Like they actually want to serve you. They want to accomplish the role and the job, which means they're going to do better than you expect. That's the biggest challenge right there, is to get them to do that.
You think people, I think it just depends on the person, right? So I think, also wanted to ask you about accountability. So, you touch on that, right? So if I'm put to a task, I'm a task-oriented person. So if client give me a job, I have to finish it, no matter what it takes. Maybe I have to wake up a weird hour to finish it. So it's just me. But how would you say the importance for a leader to be accountable? Is it that this is the most important factor as in your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Well, accountability is that voice in your head, right? That says you really got to get this done, but with an extra push. And a lot of times that extra push has to come externally, not just from our own drive sometimes. Again, it goes back to not knowing what you don't know sometimes, right? And that's where we come in with our clients, is we have our accountability is a very important part of what it is that we do. A very big part of our process is holding our clients accountable for their successes and their failures. Because we have to learn through failures, but you're not going to learn if you're not accountable for them, right? You're just not going to. You're just going to continuously make them over and over again. So accountability from a leadership perspective, personal accountability is important, and have to understand what to hold yourself accountable for. But external accountability is even more important. Another person there that's going to sit there and say, okay, you didn't accomplish what you were planning on accomplishing. You didn't improve X, Y, Z, and why do you think that is? Let's go through that and find ways to make that happen. And we're big on that. Mm-hmm. Our clients will tell you that they get phone calls and texts every week because of assignments and responsibilities that they were responsible for to accomplish that week, and we check in on it. Hey, how'd it go? Right? How'd it go? Oh, not so well, or I didn't do it. Well, why didn't you do it? What stood in your way? And so those are the things that I believe is extremely important for accountability as a leader, not just personal accountability, but accountability from others externally as well.
Yeah, I think if anyone's listening or watching the show, all high performers have coaches. Think about all the athletes in Olympic. Can you imagine that they don't have coaches? They have tons of coaches, right? All the top performers in business, they all have coaches. Even coaches have coaches. Right. So, because they are there to keep you accountable. They are, maybe giving you homework, assignments, and then they check in on you. And, like, Lou was saying, how did it go? Did you enjoy it, or did you not enjoy it? Why is that? So then you can improve your process or improve whatever that you're trying to improve on, by having a coach. He or she is making you accountable.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree.
So wanted to ask you one final question. It's kind of like a bigger question, right? For listeners out there who are, liking the idea for being accountable, finding their purpose, moving forward, what would you suggest? How would you encourage them to find their purpose? And I'll definitely include the link that you have with the questions. And what else do you think, we need, moving forward and to be more successful?
Yeah, well, I know for me, my transformation really happened really back in 2018, but it really started out with personal development. So we can't lead others without leading ourselves first. And by doing that, either as simple as start reading some books that are some of the leadership experts out there, some personal development. There's tons of different references and books, and that we can go on and on for them. But I personally love the one from John Maxwell, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. That is a wonderful book, personal and professional, to really start there and start looking into yourself so you can move and go to that next level, whatever that you are in, wherever stage that you're in. So personal development is huge with that. So that's my number one tip, is to start with that personal development.
Yeah, that's important because in order really to grow you have to know yourself to grow yourself, right? So you've got to identify who you are personally in order to develop yourself and develop other people. You can really only give at the level of your own growth, right? So moving forward, it has to entail you as the priority. Now it sounds selfish, but it really isn't, because if you do it with the intent of, as I grow myself, I can help grow other people, and whatever it is that you do in your business or in your job, your role is to help other people and to grow them. Well, you can't do that without growing yourself first. You really can't. You're only going to be able to give them at your own limit. That includes your family too. We hear this a lot. Oh, I love my family. I just want to give them more. Okay, well, give yourself more then. Learn more, grow yourself more. Then you can give more to them. You cannot give something that you don't have, right? And so you've got to continue to develop yourself, grow forward, and move in that direction, which entails not just reading, but reading, applying, as you mentioned, coaches, mentors, those types of things. Get them on board with you so that you can then not just feel like you're waking up every day going through the same routine, but you're actually making progress. You're actually seeing change. All right. So that I definitely agree with that as moving forward. And one last thing I recommend moving forward to as well is this. Understand that as a leader, you're fully responsible for the results. Your results, your team's results. And if you own your own business, and you're an entrepreneur, if you're a solo entrepreneur, you're the only one that's responsible for those results. So the question I'm going to leave you with on that is, what are you doing to ensure your success? Are you just going by what you believe and what you think is the right way to go? Or are you connecting up with other individuals and other people to gain the coaching insight, gain that when you get stuck, who do you call to get unstuck? Who do you call when you realize that you spent 9 hours of your day in administrative work and didn't get anything done that's in line with your passion? And you're doing this consistently. How do you manage your time? Who are you contacting to get that type of direction? See, those are the types of things as leaders we've got to begin to think. Is looking at, instead of fighting through something, thinking that it's going to change, but you don't really know how to change it. Well, go to people that do. That's what resources are all about. So moving forward, do not neglect to use the resources around you so that you can gain more clarity as you move into the next step of your journey, whether it's in business for yourself or in a company that you work for as a leader.
Yeah, I love that. By able to reaching out. Now there's really no excuse. You could reach anyone in the world, like in drop of a click. Like there's no reason why you can't reach out. You can reach out to people far, far away if you think they have the expertise that you're looking for. It's nothing to stop you.
Right. Exactly. The only thing that stops you from progressing is yourself.
Love that. So Lou and Sherri, love all the advice that you've been giving. So if the listener wanted to find out more about what you guys do, what would be the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, just go to our website, www.loueverettgroup.com. That's the best way. We're also all over social media.
Yeah, LinkedIn, Facebook, even Instagram. So we'd love to reach out. Lots of people have come to us even through LinkedIn, emails. So we love to talk to individuals and see where you're at. Let's have a conversation. And if we can't help, we know somebody that can. That's the beauty about our network, and hence that's why we are the Lou Everett Group.
Thank you so much for all the advice and coming on to the show today.
You bet.
Sure,
you bet. Thank you for having us.
All right, thank you.